As we get ready for one of the busiest beach weekends of the summer, we are bringing awareness to something called a double drowning. Bystanders who try to rescue someone struggling in the water often get themselves in trouble, too. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee took part in a simulation aimed at preventing tragedy.
This is the first time Dennis and Shannon Kenning have come back to this beach on Lake Michigan since they lost their son, Tom, in those very waters 2 years ago. The middle school teacher, husband, and father tried to rescue a young girl he didn't even know. She was struggling in the water. She survived, and he did not.
Tom, I could tell, was contemplating what to do. He handed me his hat and his phone and started walking toward the water's edge.
We all underestimate how turbulent, how strong this really is, and it can overcome you so quickly.
It's a hidden danger we see every single summer. Parents and brave strangers attempting to rescue people out of the water, often on beaches without lifeguards. While some are successful, far too often, neither the victim nor the rescuer survive.
They might have this confidence because they know how to swim. They make that instant decision, jump in. That's unfortunately the moment when they learn that this is going to be a very difficult task to keep this person at the surface. It turns into a double drowning.
To illustrate just how difficult it can be to rescue someone from turbulent water, I team up with certified lifeguards at Scoot and Surf at the water park inside the American Dream Mall. Here, choppy waves will help simulate the chaos in the ocean or the Great Lakes. My first challenge? Rescue not a person, but this, a 10-pound rubber diving brick, which lifeguards use to test their strength and endurance. I dive in, I grab the brick, and make it back to shore. These waves are only 2 feet tall, but already it was definitely a challenge. Whew, my legs are burning. Next, we raise the bar. This time, it's 12-year-old competitive surfer Huda who's going to simulate a drowning victim, which can be dangerous to the person rescuing because victims often panic and then can drag you under. After a short break, I plunge back in. This time, it feels much more real. As soon as I take on that weight, I immediately struggle to keep my head above water. Fortunately, since this pool is shallow and I'm not fighting a rip current, I don't need to hold him up very long. If any of this looks like it was easy, it was not. And for good measure, we asked 2 volunteer dads to give both scenarios a try. Like me, Ryan successfully rescues both the brick and the drowning victim. But also like me, it was a lot harder than he thought.
Even just swimming out there, my heart rate went up. It was very, very tiring.
But watch what happens to our other volunteer, Mike. Before he even makes it to the brick, this dad of 3 signals to the lifeguards. He just can't get there.
You think you can do it, but the wave's hitting you. And you try swimming and it's just, you feel like you're getting tired and tired.
My arms were hurting. I mean, even now my heart is like boom, boom, boom. It's a lot more tiring than it looks like it would be.
And experts warned us if this were the ocean or the Great Lakes, it would be infinitely more challenging, especially because of rip currents.
In the pool, you have a controlled environment. In the ocean, you are in a relatively safe or seemingly relatively safe position one moment, and the next you're swept off your feet and you're 50 to 100 yards out to sea and you really don't know what hit you.
Mike says despite his struggle, if it were his own kids, he'd still try to rescue them, which would put his own life at risk. But there is a safer way. Bring a flotation device, which could be as simple as a boogie board. Here's how you could use it.
Far enough away from him so then when you hand him, he's not right on top of you. Safe distance. You say, relax, I'm here to save you.
I try my rescue again. The difference? Staggering.
Having the boogie board was everything. It made it so much easier. I was calmer. It felt like I had distance between me and the person. That distance gave me confidence.
Mike also gives it another go. This time, he makes it out to the brick and all the way back to shore.
It was still tiring, but it was a lot easier.
Because of that extreme fatigue, the United States Life-Saving Association warns against us regular folks attempting a rescue. Instead, first alert a lifeguard and call 911. If the victim is in a rip current, try yelling instructions. Tell them to calm down, float on your back, and swim parallel to shore, out of the current and never against it. If you're close enough to them, throw them something that floats, like that boogie board, a pool noodle, maybe a beach ball, or even a cooler. If all that fails, while it's not recommended, experts say if you do attempt a water rescue, do not go in without a flotation device.
Yeah, I got it, we're on.
It made all the difference in this rescue. And it's a lesson this dad won't soon forget.
And Ginger Zee joins me now from Seabright, New Jersey with more on this. Ginger, you're an experienced swimmer, so how surprised were you at how hard it is to stay above water when you're trying to support someone else too?
I was slow, I was inefficient, I was exhaustible. Like, it was so fast that I got exhausted. And I kept imagining it being one of my sons out there. And I know adrenaline would be different, but without this, I would never go in again. So that's what I'm taking away. I would always go in with something to float both of us.
This being that boogie board that you're holding. I found it really interesting that a cooler can also be used as a flotation device in a pinch. It's such a great tip. What else stuck out to you that you thought, you know, I can really use this if I'm ever in a jam?
That's the thing, is I can go looking out around this beach right now, and I now would go and say, okay, I'm gonna grab this, I could get this. Any of that would work. If I got out there to them, here is the best thing. You're way out in the water, you finally got there, both of you are safe, floating on the flotation device. You don't have to be a whole hero, you could be a half hero. Stay out there. 911 has been called, pros are on the way. You don't have to hero it all the way back to the shoreline. And that's the instinct, is that you think you gotta get back, but if you're both okay, you can wait it out.
Oh my God, I feel like we have a bumper sticker there. Just be a half hero, that's good enough.
Yes.
Ginger, what do you think are the main things that people should know if they do see someone potentially drowning? Because it's easier to say, just stay on the beach and wait for help, but when you're actually there, you feel like you need to do something.
Swim where there's a lifeguard. I mean, here at the shore, you swim right in front of them, because these guys are trained. We've actually been watching a bunch of them train this morning to save your life. So if something goes wrong, you don't have to be that hero. You can have someone who's got the flotation device. They know exactly what they're doing. And then weather-wise, let me tell you, like every other forecast, we know when the ocean is going to be rough. We know the type of wind directions and speeds that make rip currents. If you see a flag up or you follow those, shoreline, both in the Great Lakes and the ocean forecasts, don't go in the ocean, and you won't have a problem on those days.
Best way is to prevent the dangerous situation from happening to begin with. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee. Ginger, thank you.